So Startropolis was, it was born from a lot of games. I've been building a lot of different games over time, and the games were, they were building games, and they always started on the ground floor, and they were building up. There were some line of sight aspects and multiple buildings to it, but it was missing something. I could always tell there was nothing there. And one day I built off the side of one of the buildings, and I'm like, well, that's really cool. You can go out in another dimension. That'd be really cool if you could do that. You wouldn't have to get gravity. And then without gravity, I'm like, well, that's it. I put it up in space. So I moved it up into space, and then I realized instead of just one direction, I could build in 6 different directions. If I was just using straight lines off of there, I could build really in any direction, but 6 directions to make it easier for everyone to comprehend as a 3-dimensional game. So that's how Startropolis was born. It was born from that need to not just build in one direction, but to build in multiple directions instead of just building up. And then the economic aspect and all the other aspects come about afterwards from that.
Well, when we first looking for a publisher for Startropolis, we went around to quite a few different companies, and there was actually a lot of interest in Startropolis, but some were a little apprehensive about taking on a project with such a heavy plastic needs because the core of the game is fitting together these plastic modules. Fortunately, I remember Petersen Games has a lot of experience with plastics with their Cthulhu Wars line, with giant miniatures and great detail, so I thought they would be a great partner for Startropolis. So we approached them and showed them the game, and fortunately for us and them, that they loved it and agreed to publish it.
So yeah, when Tony brought Petersen Games in, because of their massive plastics that they've worked on in the past, I thought it was pretty cool since they have the same last name as me. I mean, how could you go wrong with another Petersen? But really, they're a family company, and they treat us like family. It was not just they take our game and they run with it, and whatever they decide, if they're going to change it or anything, they make all the decisions and it's all over. No, they really partnered with us together to make sure that we brought a synergetic game together. It was, collaborative. Everything was collaborative. From the Kickstarter to all the advanced rules that they made with the game, everything was collaborative, a collaborative thing. So that's what I really liked about working with them. It was all the collaboration that we got to do with them and working together.
There are a few key mechanics that work with Startropolis. One is that it's a modular game. The entire core of the game is built around buying plastic modules and fitting them together into a 3D space station from all different sides. And then the second core mechanic will be that it's an economic game. You have your starting money for your corporation, and you use that to buy your first module, which in turn starts generating more revenue, so you can buy more modules attached to the station and generate even more money. The whole goal of the game is to earn the most money by the end of the game, so economic. And then finally, it's also a family-friendly game. And we wanted something you could play with your family, your young ones, ages 8 and up, and also your non-gaming friends.
So I found particularly challenging building the game was not the actual 3-dimensional building of the game. That came about pretty quickly after, as I described, how it came up into space. What was really hard to get out of that one was the economic aspect of the game. The game started as an auction building game, and with the auction building game, it was really high learning curve. The first couple times you played, you didn't know how much you should bid for something and what the real value of a module was. So that made it really difficult that people didn't enjoy that whole bidding aspect of it. Everyone liked the attachment. Everyone loved building a station, but they couldn't get that building aspect, the economic aspect down. So finally, Tony came about when he joined the project, and he brought that track with him, the construction track, and that way you can build what you want to build. It may cost you a little extra if you want to build it quicker, but you can build what you want to build from the track itself. You don't have to outbid somebody to get the module. And you can get all the modules at a regional price, and they can return what they need to. The other aspect of that was balancing it. I mean, play testing to make sure the numbers were actually balancing out. What the module cost has to make sure it balances out with how much revenue it's going to return you over the span of the game. We want to make sure that everyone's getting a fair value out of them. And then it's up to you to get the best out of them by attaching them correctly on the station to the right people and convincing other people to attach to yours.
For me, it's the aspect of creation. You start off with just one piece, and as everybody's connecting to it, you see this base station slowly grow and come to life. And that's really what I love in a board game sometimes, is when I can build things and then watch it progress as the game goes. And at the end of the game, you look down upon what's there, and you see, like, okay, we've created a space station, and it's something new that wasn't there before.
Yeah, and what I really like about the game is I like all the player interaction. Convincing people to connect to your portion of the space station if you need extra revenue, or convincing them not to attach to your luxury. And then watching people actually attach and find that best location. Sometimes it's even really, what really is cool is watching kids find that best location, because they are experts. I don't know how they do it, but they can find that exact little location that'll give them the most revenue for their money. And they can, find those two connections for their commercial module that gives them extra income their first turn. And then watching people put those solars on the end and cap the end so it can't go any higher in a certain location. I just like that kind of interaction that you see with the game.